Carl Jung spent 60 years listening to dreams, sitting with thousands of people in rooms that smelled of coffee and paper and watching the same patterns repeat until they became rules. From that clinical horizon come 5 practical insights you can test in 20 minutes a day and that will change how your day unfolds. These are not abstract archetypes to memorize, they are operating principles of the psyche, observed in consulting rooms, in workplaces, and in kitchens at midnight. If you are tired of quick fixes that fade by evening, pay attention. What follows are 5 clear, usable lessons you can try this week to transform your day in small, cumulative ways. Ignore them and you keep reenacting avoidable suffering. Listen, because I will show you how to apply each lesson in daily moments with one concrete exercise for each, and with examples from people like Maria, Daniel, Aisha, and Marcus, so you can begin immediately. Stay with me. Your day can begin to change within 20 minutes. Most of the pain you feel in a single day comes from violating simple psychological rules the psyche expects to follow. Think of your inner life as a delicate instrument, like an old clock in a cafe that ticks with precise gears. If you force the hands, if you wear the clock outside its casing, the mechanism strains and starts to stutter. The same happens when you push against what your psyche needs: awareness, being seen, rest, honest boundaries. You do not suffer because life is unfair alone. You suffer because you habitually misapply energy and attention. The mechanism is straightforward: projection, disassociation, overinvestment in roles, and avoidance of felt sensation. You can learn these mechanics and run short 20-minute practices each morning or evening that recalibrate the movement. Imagine a list of 5 small calibrations, each 15 to 20 minutes, that together alter your day-to-day tone from reactive to intentional. That is what these lessons are: small maintenance tasks for your inner clock. They are not theoretical, they are tactile, sensory, and immediate. Before the first exercise, picture the relief of one afternoon when you respond instead of react, when a conversation ends and you can feel a steady chest and a clear head. That is the practical promise. Lesson 1. What you resist persists. This is not a platitude. It is a principle you can observe in the morning inbox, in a dinner you avoid, in a thought you push away until it hardens into anxiety. Mechanism: resistance amplifies energy around content. Example: you notice an email you dread. You avoid it, you replay worst-case scenes, your stomach knots, your chest tightens. If instead you sit for 20 minutes, breathe, name the fear, and open the message, the energy dissipates. Listen to this short exchange between a client and a friend in a living room that smelled of lemon cleaner, voices low, rain tapping the window. Client: I can't handle his critique. Friend: what are you actually afraid will happen if you hear it? Client: that he will prove I'm incompetent. And if he does, then I will feel small again. What if you let yourself feel small for a moment? What then? The client breathes. The room feels cooler. The cup is warm in the hand. The carpet rubs soft under the foot. Hear the clink of the spoon as the client stirs coffee. That small acceptance removes the charge. Sensory details: the metallic click of the spoon, the damp smell of rain, the warmth of the mug against the palm, the distant hum of traffic. Practice for 20 minutes. When a resisting thought appears, set a timer, sit, breathe, and name the fear aloud 3 times. Notice the release. Try this 3 times this week and observe whether the same situations that once consumed half a day now take 20 minutes. Lesson 2. Your wound can be your gift. Pain, handled with curiosity, becomes information and fuel. Meet Elena, a 40-year-old teacher who turned chronic embarrassment about making mistakes into a curious pedagogy that lets students fail without shame. Meet Marcus, who learned to lean into his abandonment anxiety and built friendships with clearer boundaries. Backstory of the person who will guide this section is important. The protagonist here is you in portrait. As a child, you learn to be useful, chores, praise, early responsibility. Your inner map rewarded performance with safety, so you learned to perform. Over years, that became invisible. You no longer recognized when you were acting to be seen rather than living for your own curiosity. There were nights you woke with your throat tight and the taste of metal, convinced you had to fix everything around you to be safe. You learned to hide doubts behind humor, to tidy feelings into schedules, and to measure worth by output. That history explains why certain triggers still collapse you. One harsh comment, a closed text, a sudden silence, and the old wiring assumes threat. This is the raw soil of a gift. Those sensitivities mean you notice nuance, you respond to others, and you can turn attentiveness into depth. In this section, there are 3 named voices: Dr. Lee, the supervisor who pushed for honesty; Naomi, the neighbor who offered reflection over coffee; and Samuel, the friend who modeled liminal courage. In practice, pick one small embarrassment you carry and translate it into a question to ask someone you trust. Sensory practice. Place your hand on the fabric of your jacket, feel the thread, breathe, listen to the sound of your own inhalation, taste the coffee or water, and then speak the question. This translates wound into gift. Take a moment. If this is landing, I know it can feel confronting. If it hits, you are not alone. I understand. These ideas demand honesty. Now, please engage quickly. Which of the first 2 lessons landed for you? Type resist if the first felt truer, or wound if the second spoke to you. In one sentence, say why. Your short comment helps others see what resonates and guides future videos. Your reply also builds community. Someone reading your sentence may feel seen and try the same experiment tomorrow. Thank you for sharing. Now we move to the 3rd lesson. Lesson 3. You are not your persona. The mask you wear at work, at family dinners, on social media is an adaptive tool. It keeps you safe until it becomes identity. The crisis of persona happens when life demands different movements than the mask allows. Imagine Daniel at 45, a marketing director who laughs with his team but returns to a silent kitchen where the walls echo with unasked questions. He begins to wonder who is behind the laugh. Scene: late evening, light from the street angling across the floor, a kettle whistle, the smell of onions sautéing. Dialogue here is longer, a real exchange between Daniel and Aisha, a colleague who became a therapist friend. 6 short turns that reveal the persona split. Daniel: I always know how to close the deal. Why do I feel empty when it's over? Aisha: what part of you is waiting for something else? Daniel: a voice that wants to create, not manage. Aisha: when did you first stop making things? Daniel: I stopped after college when rent and promises took priority. Aisha: is that still your priority? Or could you rearrange a small piece of your day? Daniel can hear the traffic, the kettle purr, the clink of a spoon, the cotton of his sleeve against his wrist. He smells garlic, tastes salt in the air. His chest tightens, then eases. That sensory noticing opens a path. Practice. For 20 minutes, write without editing. Just voice record or pen a paragraph where you speak to your persona as if it were a character. Ask it one question and listen. This tiny ritual begins to separate role from self. Lesson 4. The midlife reversal. Prioritize becoming over performing. People often call this midlife crisis, but the truth is quieter and more precise. The life you built for the first half may require a moral and practical pivot. This section contains 2 detailed moments of tension to make the point real. Moment 1. Picture a Monday morning where everything is on schedule, but you wake with a hollow feeling in the chest. You drive to work, The radio blares, the coffee is bitter, your palms are damp, and you realize you no longer recognize the person in the mirror. That realization punches the stomach. You feel dizzy, your breath shallow, the office fluorescent light seems too white. For 5 minutes, you are unmoored. The thought repeats, "What did I build this for?" That 2-minute inquiry is dangerous and beautiful. Moment 2. A few weeks later, you sit at the kitchen table with Maria and Dr. Lee on a Saturday. Rain on the windows, the kettle cooling, the fridge humming. A conversation turns to choices, staying in a steady job or risking a small creative project. Marcus sits silent, fingers tracing the rim of a mug, and then he confesses he has always wanted to teach a class on small ceramics. The confession sounds like a stone thrown into a pond, ripples across everyone. The tension is not dramatic lightning, it is a quiet, visceral recalibration. These moments are each about 550 characters of felt tightness. The stomach drop, the shortness of breath, the sound of rain, the scrape of chair legs, the metallic taste in the mouth, the light going from warm to clinical. Practice. Once a week for 20 minutes, write 3 small ways you could reallocate time to what becomes you rather than what performs for others. Then act on the smallest option first. Lesson 5. Purpose equals becoming yourself. Individuation is not a destination, it is a direction. Purpose is less an external mission statement and more a daily set of habits aligned to the contours of your interior life. This is an ethical call. You must choose who you will be moment by moment with gentleness and rigor. Naomi redesigned evenings to include 30 minutes of reading for no audience. Samuel scheduled weekly calls to practice vulnerability. Elena began a Saturday studio hour where making clay was not about selling, but about attention. If you want to begin, start with one concrete 20-minute practice today. Sit in a chair, set a timer, and ask 2 questions aloud. What do I want to be doing this week that makes me feel like me? What small action can I take in the next 20 minutes to honor that? Sensory anchor. Feel the texture of the chair, the temperature of the room, the taste of your breath, the cadence of your breathing, the light on your skin. Begin. That is the practice of purpose. Now a short practical offer. I created a simple, free 20-minute guide you can download that sets a daily loop. Clarity, embodied noticing, small action, reflection. It includes prompts tied to each of the 5 lessons and a mini journal template you can use for 30 days. Click the link below the video to get it. If you try it, come back and tell us which day shifted most for you. This guide is short, practical, and designed to be used in real kitchens, offices, and commutes. If you want more structured work, consider our extended workbook and community sessions listed in the description. Now we return to a deeper example before we close. A second pair of moments of tension appear in the larger arc of life change. The first is the small daily friction that compounds. You keep deferring honest conversations. Your body stores the postponement as tight shoulders and a bracketed jaw. The sound of your shoes in the hallway becomes a metronome of avoidance. For 500 to 600 characters, the jaw clamps. The shoulders climb, the breath flattens, you taste copper, you notice the light has gone gray, and you say nothing. That silence is a slow leak. The second moment is a decisive crossroads. You are offered a promotion that requires more travel, more persona, less studio time. In conversation with a trusted friend, you feel the choice as temperature. It warms when you imagine art, cools when you picture spreadsheets. The tension is the temperature of values. Both are visceral, not hypothetical, and both can be navigated with 20-minute calibrations that orient you toward integration rather than drift. Sensory practices in these tensions. Press your fingertips to your sternum. Listen to one song. Look out a window and name 3 colors. Breathe into the place that tightens. These small acts change the physiology of decision. Now practical recapitulation and a temporal epilogue you can picture. If you adopt even one 20-minute practice each day, your life will change predictably over time. In 1 month, you will notice small shifts. Morning reactions soften. Conversations feel clearer. One recurring worry will lose its volume. In 3 months, your relationships will respond. People will name a new steadiness in you. Colleagues will notice decisiveness born of clarity, and you will have one small project started that belonged to you alone. In 6 months, the pattern of your days will visibly reorder. Your calendar will reflect priority, not default. Your energy will cluster around what matters. The persona will be a tool, not a prison. Imagine Elena in 1 month laughing with students without panic. In 3 months, offering a new elective. In 6 months, running a weekend retreat on learning from error. Imagine Daniel spending Saturday mornings in a community studio, a small kiln humming, friends stopping by, the smell of clay and coffee thick in the air. Picture Naomi, Samuel, Maria, and Marcus each making small moves that accumulate. This epilogue is concrete. After 1 month, you will have tried 3 20-minute practices. After 3 months, you will have a new weekly ritual. After 6 months, you will see recalibration in choices and in how others mirror you back. To practice now, choose one of the 5 lessons and schedule a 20-minute block in the next 24 hours. If you choose resistance, name one avoided task and open it. If you choose wound, ask one trusted person a question that translates pain into curiosity. If you choose persona, write a paragraph addressing your mask. If you choose midlife reversal, list 3 small reallocation options and do the smallest. If you choose purpose, set a 20-minute action that makes you feel like you. If you found this useful, subscribe for weekly practices that translate deep ideas into 20-minute habits. We build a community that values sustained work, not tricks. Download the short guide below for prompts you can use immediately. Comment now with the word that describes which lesson you will try today and 1 sentence about your plan. Your small report helps others begin. Remember, the psyche is not an obstacle to be defeated, but a partner to be learned. Start 20 minutes now and let your day become an answer rather than a question.